All right. So we are on, we are live. Thank you so much for tuning into our live interview with the lovely Cassandra. Thank you so much for being here with us today. She's going to be talking with us today about social influencers, what they are, how they work, how to establish a relationship with them. So just give it a little bit of background. Well, hold on, let's wait. I want to see, make sure people are getting on. Can you guys give me some love? Make sure you can hear me okay. That'd be really helpful.
Oh, it shows how many viewers. 30?
Yeah, so it shows because it's like live comments.
Cool.
So this is kind of the first time we've done this, so I want to make sure everyone can hear us okay. All right, so we'll just keep moving along. So anyway, the amazing, lovely, phenomenal Cassandra, she is a reality TV star. She was in The Bachelor and The Bachelor in Paradise. Professional model, very successful, has done multiple commercials. She's a makeup artist, very successful makeup artist. God, what else? A phenomenal mother, and has a great Instagram following where she has done a lot of product promotion. So she has a lot of experience as a social influencer. So thank you. Welcome.
Thank you for having
me. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I said thanks for having me.
Thank you. Well, I know I want to know, and I know I'm sure other people want to know more about you. You know, how did you get started? And I mean, honestly, what made you get on The Bachelor? What made you want to do that?
Okay, so I honestly, I never really watched the show. My mom and my sister kind of pushed me to do it. As a young single mother, they just wanted me to get out there and start dating. When I did the show, I had no idea the amount of people who actually watched the show.
Yeah.
And then also, when I did the show, it's kind of when social media started blowing up. And so if you watched, my season and then the next season, the girls' followings just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So I really didn't anticipate that going into the show. I was kind of shocked once I got off the show and, looked at my phone, the amount of followers that was coming in. That was pretty shocking.
So did that happen, I mean, kind of soon after you started on The Bachelor, or was that kind of after The Bachelor ended that you saw your followers kind of just explode?
When I first did the show, it was 4 years ago or so, like I said, social media was big, but it wasn't as big as it is now. So I feel like I almost got more followers when I did Bachelor in Paradise, which was 1 or 2 years ago. And I was only on there for a few episodes. And even then, my following doubled. So I feel like as time goes on, just the amount of people on Facebook or Instagram, I would say mostly Instagram is what is really just becoming more and more popular.
Mm-hmm. Well, when did brands start contacting you and asking you like, hey, let me send you something. Can you put it on your Instagram or your Facebook?
I would say immediately was when the second I got off the show and my numbers started getting bigger, people started emailing me because I had my email in my bio, which now some people have the option to just directly click and it opens email. But so yeah, people were just emailing me, hey, if I send you this, will you post about it? So I thought it was pretty cool. I was getting free stuff. I didn't take it too seriously. Hey, will you wear this necklace? Hey, will you wear this clothing item? Or hey, will your son play with this toy? I'm like, sure, send it.
Yeah.
So I just thought of it more as like a cool perk. But once I heard that people were actually making profit off of this and also getting paid per post, and once I thought of it more as a business, then I started charging per post. Or, obviously if I liked the brand or if I liked whatever they wanted to send me, maybe I would just do it for trade. But most of the time now I do charge per post.
Yeah. Well, can you walk us, I know you kind of started to walk us through the process, but can you walk us through kind of the start to finish of, so you said the brand will contact you via email. Is that still how you do it? And is that how a lot of social influencers do that now? Find an email?
I would say so. There are many ways that you can establish a relationship with a influencer. So one being email. That's the easiest way to get in contact with someone. But as we all know, our emails come in, there's junk mail, there's just a lot going on. If someone says that they have a brand or they're willing to pay, sometimes we don't know if it's a legitimate brand, or if you give them your address, they're not like, I don't know. I started to veer away from working with people through email unless like a friend of mine has worked with them, or if it's a brand that's well known or something. So what I started to do was use companies that are almost like agents. So they'll contact you and they'll say, hey, this brand wants to work with you, or the brand will contact you on the network. And so basically, it's a legitimate brand. There's a contract, so there's guidelines and information that they want you to post. You can almost negotiate a price, or if you're just going to do it for trade, or like commission or something on the sale. And then once you create the content, you forward it back to them. So it's almost like a back and forth chat. So to give you an example, two of the kind of like agent type things that I use, one of them is called Revfluence. It's REVFLUENCE. And the other one is the Amplify. And those are just two examples that I use most often. There are a ton of these types of companies out there. I hope this isn't confusing, but
that was my next question was, who have you used? What agencies do you use?
So I feel like once you guys Google them, look them up, and it's very easy once you click on it to know like exactly what I'm talking about right now, because it's kind of confusing. But basically it's a legitimate way to establish like that relationship and chat back and forth with not having to just do it on email. And also payment is easy because your PayPal is linked. So the second I post, a day or two later, the PayPal, money, I'll get a notification. So it's just more of like a legitimate way to know I'm going to get paid. There's going to be guidelines. I know exactly what to do. I know exactly what they want. I know exactly what to post. And then I can also send them the content. They approve it, and then I post it. So it's just like more, it's just a little bit easier. And it's also great because there's a ton of brands that I'm working with on there that I can chat with, and kind of organize it all instead of having a million emails.
Have to keep track of, go back and forth, and yeah.
And then another way to have a relationship that I've found to be it was pretty powerful when there's this guy named Paul. He's a guy. He's from CEG Talent. He started reaching out to a ton of reality people. So I don't really watch reality TV, but there's a ton of shows out there. So he just started reaching out to these people with tons of followings, like tons of people who follow them. And like I said, I have 80,000 followers. There's people who have millions. So Paul started reaching out to all these reality people. So let's say they had a brand for protein powder or something. If you have let's say 50 people post about this protein powder during the whole week, and you see it on your feed and you follow all these reality people, like I feel like it's pretty powerful when you have like similar types of people that you follow all post about the same thing. And anyway, Paul from CEG, I don't know if you guys want to try and contact him too. I don't know, but yeah, I would say Amplify and Refluence are pretty good. And Paul, I don't have his direct number right now, but yeah.
What was it, Paul from? What was his?
It's CEG Talent. I'm going to look it up right now. CEG Talent. So I go back and forth with them, and yeah. So there'll be a day where me and let's say like 20 other Bachelor or reality people will post about a product, and most likely someone who follows me is going to follow at least like half of the people who are posting about it. So once it sticks in your mind, even if it's a product that you'd never think to buy, if you see it and see it and see it and see
Over
it.
and
You're gonna buy it. Yeah. Yes. It's sunglasses. Hey, I need sunglasses. Well, I just saw 50 posts about it the past month. So I'm gonna go for that brand.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of smart.
Are there any products that you like won't promote? Like you're like, not really my thing, or that you're like, I don't.
Yeah, of course, when people are telling you that they're going to pay, for you to post something, it's great. But once you realize you don't want to be too spammy. So, you don't want to put a ton of ads out there and people to unfollow you, because then that means less money. So I feel that skinny tea, that stuff like that, like I don't want to really promote that to young girls. What else? Like teeth whitening. I feel like that kind of gets a little cheesy. I don't know. Stuff like that, like skinny tea, or like waist trainers, or just some of the products like that. But if it's something that I'll use normally, or something that I would actually buy, like a food product or a skincare or a cosmetic or clothes for my kid.
You did the workout video not long ago. Like,
yeah.
That was really good. You had, like,
exactly. And that's something that I actually do use. And it's like, that's a good product. So I want to know that I like the product, and it's something that I know my followers will like.
So that's really interesting. So you have to really like balance the promotional content as well as the personal content to keep your audience continually engaged.
Yeah.
You are. I mean, that's I think the whole power of the influencer is that there is a real palpable connection to you, to you and to your life. This isn't a commercial.
Yeah, and like you said, I don't want it to get fake, or I don't want it to be. I just want it to be more natural, and yes, like I do. I started to take my Instagram more seriously, and I know that sounds silly because most people just post photos, but it is a business. And yeah, so if I want something that I want products that fit with my life and my brand, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me go to the next question because I've got a bunch here for you. This kind of goes in line with how you promote in general. Is what is your target audience? Like, who would you say is your demographic in your niche, if you will?
So I believe if you get over 100,000 Instagram followers, or I think it's 100,000, you're able to see actually a percentage of the age, the gender, you get some demographics for your Instagram. But since I have 80,000, I never really knew. So one day I clicked on, it was either Refluence or Amplify, or one of the pages like that. And it actually had all of my stats on there. So I had no idea. Over 90% or more of my following is females, which I figured. Yeah. I mean, I'm a mother, I'm a young girl, but I really had no idea how young they were too. So, I would say most of my following is in the 20 somethings, which, I mean, I could have just guessed that based on, clicking on people who like my stuff, but it was cool to see that, knowing, hey, I need to be like aware of that, and I don't know, just know who my audience is, because if I post certain things, then I need to just be aware of that.
Is that something that you address when you're like going through the communication process with a particular brand, like the product that they want you to promote? Is that something that they ask you, or that you kind of give to them, like, this is my audience, this is...
I think that on their end, they already know going into it what my average likes are, like my average like engagement comments are, what, if I have more males, more females. So let's say they have a brand for skincare. They're going to want someone who has, a female like skincare line or something. They're going to want someone who has mostly females, or, someone who has a family. They're going to want someone to promote like a toy or something for their kids. I don't know. You just have to know who your audience is, but the brand definitely on their end, through, like I said, the Amplify or Refluence or companies like that, they definitely know what their what the influencers demographics and all the information is on there. Mm-hmm.
And that's through the actual agency. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. The other question is, I know you do Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like a big following. Have you ever tried or done other social platforms?
Mm-hmm.
Why or why not? Like, what were your reasoning?
So I'm obviously on Facebook. I do have a personal page. I felt like I definitely got the most engagement with, or back and forth, likes, all of that through Instagram. I feel like Facebook is kind of a personal thing for me. I didn't really want to have like a public page because I thought that was kind of weird. Unless I had like millions of followers, and I thought that was weird. And then I did try a blog. I felt like the blog was weird too. I spoke to you about it the other day. Sometimes we just scroll through our feed and we're not really gonna, hey, I have a blog post. Like 9 times out of 10, we're not gonna click on it. I mean, sometimes we're busy. We're just looking at our phone. Unless it's something that really, really catches our attention, then most of the time people don't really look at blogs. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I would say,
Really
I would say unless you know someone really, really has a huge following for their blog, I would say, I would say Instagram is the way to go. But with Amazon, it's very easy to connect links through a blog versus an Instagram. Another thing I just remembered, there is something called Like to Know It, L-I-K, I think it's just like to know it. Yeah, just Like to Know It. And I use this often on some of my pictures. I'm going to try and read it because it's very confusing. Amazon is affiliated with Like to Know It, which I just remembered. This is how do I explain it? When you like a photo and there's a Like to Know It code on an Instagram photo, you get a direct email with links to products. So let's say a girl has a handbag and a stroller, and it says at Like to Know It, and then there's a code, and you double click on, you like the photo on Instagram. There's going to be an email sent to you that has direct links to those products. So you can purchase a stroller, you can purchase a handbag, and Amazon is linked to Like to Know It. They work with so many different companies like Nordstrom and Sephora. Basically, there's a whole list. So if you're an Amazon seller, you can also find people who are through Like to Know It and say, hey, I can send you this, or I can pay. And then you can also use Like to Know It because Amazon works with Like to Know It. So basically, if let's say you sell strollers and someone likes your photo, there's an email sent to you, you end up purchasing that stroller through Amazon. Obviously you get the sale, and then Like to Know It gives like 10 or 15% of that sale to the person who posted it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's commission based.
Just real quick, I have a question from Robert. I know you kind of answered this already, but he would like to know, was it your intention from the beginning to become an influencer?
No.
Or did you stumble into it?
I did stumble into it, 100%. I think if I did the show, right now, let's say, hey, do you want to go on the show? I'd say, hey, you know what? I see how much money all these people are making on Instagram, and hey, I could be a social media influencer just by going on The Bachelor and make a lot of money. So hey, maybe I would have done it a little differently, but going on the show, I honestly had no idea that it would be like this.
Yeah.
And like I said, I have only 80,000 followers. Some of the people have millions. So it's very powerful. But yeah, going into it, I really didn't care about any of that.
Mm-hmm. I have another question that I think would probably be pretty relevant, is how do you show, I know you kind of talked about like through the agency and how they can monitor your following. How do you show value to the brand that you're representing? Like, how do they show any sort of return, or like, what are some ways that you can track that? Yeah.
So,
like what do brands expect as far as the return, or how do they track that it's working? You know, that you as a social influence is working for their brand.
honestly, that's a great question. Um, you know, sometimes brands are able to track it if there's, coupon codes or something they can show, hey, Cassandra's coupon code sold 20 of this or 50 of that. Or, so that's an easy way. But honestly, if I'm posting a photo and someone buys a product, then I really don't think that there is a way for the company to even track if it was from my post or if it was from someone else's. I really don't. I think that if someone sees that they feel that there's value in someone's page, or that someone's brand kind of fits with your brand and it's a good match, then I feel like, and other brands have had, like, let's say, that's a good question. You got me stumped on that one.
I mean, what I was getting at is there's nothing that really requires you, like, they're coming to you as a social influencer and saying,
Yeah.
here's my product. You have 80,000+ people that see your post.
Mm-hmm.
Just show it, and I will now have 80,000+ more people that see my product. They're not saying, okay, out of 80,000+ people, I'm expecting to get this return.
No, yeah.
They're not requiring that of you, like, because it's kind of like, this is, we're just see what happens. But I mean, I guess in a way we can track our sales. Like, we can, once we establish a social influencer in the product relationship,
you can see
our sales are going to go up.
Exactly. Right? And if they're not, then then you can kind of navigate like why or what you could do different. But yeah, really, when I do a post, I'm not thinking, hey, I want to sell, thousands of these for this company. I think of, I'm going to try and make this photo fit within my brand. I'm going to try and showcase this product, and I'm going to try and make it look the best I can. And hopefully the brand approves it, and hopefully they like how I'm promoting it. I mean, that's really my mindset. I'm not, I think that the brands definitely, the more influencers that they use, though, and the more they get out there has to be a return. I mean, otherwise this wouldn't be a thing, like,
it wouldn't be the big buzz that it is right now.
Yeah. And it's huge.
Yeah. So Jennifer House has a question. She said, if I wanted to hire you as an influencer, like, what would it cost? What's a kind of a standard practice?
So they're so, like, the products that, or the companies that I mentioned, the Amplify, Refluence, and then my agent Paul. So Paul, I would say is definitely on the high end for price, but the Amplify and Refluence, there have been companies that have reached out saying, hey, if I just send you the product, will you post? There are many, many influencers that will do that. So you can get promotion, or you can get people to work with you for no cost, potentially. Or you can use the commission-based like to know it as an incentive for them. So I would say most of the time, though, I do charge, and it could be anywhere from like $100 to like $1,000, depending on the budget and the brand, and yeah.
Now, are you required to post so often with that brand? Like, did they say I want 7 posts for a month, or I want, like, there's things that those are kind of built into the contract?
Yeah, so it's right in the contract. So they'll say, hey, can you do 2 posts or 3 posts? And then there's deadlines. So, hey, I want you to post this date, and then I want you to post a video this date, and you'll kind of You'll read through the contract and say, hey, that'll work, that won't work. But most of the time it's pretty straight to the point. Post 3 photos before this date, and you kind of integrate it in your into your feed.
Okay, very cool. Well, I wanted to ask you this, totally kind of off topic. What is like the coolest thing that you were given for free?
Oh,
Is there like one thing that like stands out that's like the coolest thing you've gotten
I
so far?
was I was thinking of that question, and honestly, the thing that kept sticking in my mind was cosmetics because I was inputted into some sort of uh, tracking thing where people had a ton of emails that of people that they wanted to work with, and so I was just getting cosmetics just sent to me like Makeup Forever or Urban Decay. Like the longest time, I was getting all of their new stuff, and I wasn't required to post about it. I just was receiving it, so I was like, what kind of list am I on? How'd they get my info? And then another thing that I got was I did a free trade with a brand called Rugs USA. So my living room rug was just a free rug, and then I posted 2 or 3. And rugs are expensive, but yeah, you're like, yes.
I know how much those are.
So I did trade for that. Yeah. So that was obviously like a free, I did the 3 posts or whatever for that. And yeah, it was cool. So I would say the rug was cool. Yeah, I don't know. I get a lot of clothes and stuff and skincare. Can't complain.
I think that's it for questions. Does anybody else have any questions? Or I think we've kind of covered a lot of the stuff. Again, her Instagram is Cassandra Fergie. It's FERGEGIR. I'm sorry, GIR. And it's already posted? Okay, yeah, and we posted it.
Cassandra Fergie.
Cassandra Fergie.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. We're good. Thank you so much, Cassandra, for taking this time. I really appreciate it. I feel like we've gotten a lot of knowledge from this, and it's just been such a joy to talk to you. So thank you so much.
I hope I explained it all properly.
I will probably get questions after, and or you may get some questions, you may get some emails, but yeah, I mean, this has been phenomenal.
I want to help though, definitely. It is a bit confusing at first, but yeah, once you get the hang of it and you have people who you go to, like once you establish kind of a network of go-to people that you want to work with, it's pretty easy. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.